This time on Custom Works, we're making madness legal. Let's get to the workshop. So this time on Custom Works, we're going to be, that front end, it's asymmetric, it's crazy. There's 4 lights there, there's no lights there. That will not pass a UK MOT, meaning the car could never go on the road. But there's always a way around it. Now, that front end it's the work of madness. It's crazy. And what we're going to do is just add some more crazy to it. We're going to fit pop-up headlights. Oh, and later on we're going to be taking a look at the back of the 60s truck, how that bike goes on, and how the Continental kit you saw last week sort of fits in with that whole mechanical ballet. Let's get to the workshop, let's get these jobs done, let's do it! Right, and so, sometimes madness needs to be tamed by the law. So, here in the UK, there's a problem. We have to have something called an MOT, and your headlights have to both be level with each other. Like, I can't just have these working and then some other lights in here because they won't be quite level. So I have a problem. Also, just to add to that, I want this bit to be really special, and I don't want the interruption of a, you know, something stupid like an actually legal headlight in there. So how do I get around this? I have a plan. I'm thinking pop-up headlights in the top of the wings. Now, this is not like an aesthetic thing, it's not part of the car, it's not part of the style, anything like that. All this is going to be is so that the car is totally legal, and then, you know, when you do get out on the road, say you're going down a country lane, no white lights, no cat's eyes, nothing like that, you can just pop out your fully legal headlights. I'm thinking at every show, every time you see the car there, always down, just cruising around town at night. For legality and safety, and always remember people, safety third. So let's have a look at how we're going to do that. I say let's go and have a look, because I have no real idea, but hot rod legend Lee Cox is here, and we will figure it out. So let's have a look at how that job is going. Okay then, so at the minute, all I have is this, and these are out of a Mazda MX-5. Well, for anyone watching in America, I think they're called a Miata. I don't know. But yeah, out of an MX-5. And as you can see, these just got normal headlights. It can be replaced nicely, we'll have no sort of issues in the future. But this is it at the minute, they're on the bench and they really need to be in that wing. And all we've made them do at the minute is this. So just got to sort out how we're going to wire these up, how they work, so that they just go in. You know, once they're in, we just can easily wire them up. Probably best not to fit them like this before we know how they actually work, because of course this is all going to be under that wing. So this is where we are at the minute. Let's work out how to make these work off the battery, so we don't have to do this. And then we'll have a look at mounting them, which I can only see is going to be an absolute nightmare. But that's hot rodding. It's all a nightmare. If I wanted to just put a car together where all the bits fitted, you know, there's millions to buy. My street's full of them. So while Lee's sorting the wiring out and just seeing how these things, you know, work and getting just accustomed to how they are, what I'm doing is making these boxes. Now, yes, I'm making them in plywood, but I'm going to glass over the whole lot so they'll be waterproof. They're going to sit right under the wheel arch, like in the way of all the wet and rain and stuff. So I'm going to do them in plywood and then cover all of that in fiberglass, and then they'll glass up nicely to the car, and it works out a little bit better than steel. Plywood holds a screw a little bit better than dye bond, so that's what I'm doing. So I'll make this box. It's going to fit underneath the wing, and it's got this in it, and like I say, the box is going to be protected. And with this way of doing it, all we've got to mount is the box rather than getting under that wing and then trying to make brackets to pick up, you know, these different mounting points. The 60s truck is not an MX-5, and these parts will never fit. But I think if we make this and then we can position it under and we can get it to work right, then make the top part, and it's basically it's more bench work than laying under the car work. With this, we'll drop it in as one unit, and that's going to make our job a lot easier. Legend Lee Cox has been looking at it for quite a while, and what we're going to do, we're going to do away with the control that's on it and fit it on a couple of micro switches that stop when it's open and closed as it needs to be. So we've not got those, but I reckon we should be able to make it work and get it working for now. But the full wiring, that will be on a future episode. When we've got all the bits we need some micro switches, some relays, stuff like that. But it shouldn't be too much of a problem, and that'll be coming up on a future episode. Right, so we're going to put this headlight in this box under that wing. Dream on. So yeah, essentially that's it. That's going to sit under there. Hopefully once we have it under there, it should be clear at the front of the front wheel, and it should fit in. And I've just got to think of the way of actually getting in there to do this in the best way to, you know, to make it all sort of work. And what I might do, I think I'm going to take the top of the wing off. Right, this might, it's not might, it does seem like madness, but I'm going to take this wing off. I'm going to take the top of the wing around here, down there and back there. It's all in places that I can easily glass this back together. Another one of the beauties of fiberglass. I think if I take that off, mount this in from the top, yes, I'm going to have to make good all this. Yeah, I'm going to have to fiberglass it in. But just the pain of doing it from underneath, I'd rather do this than that. So I'm going to take the top of this wing off, and then we'll be able to see the real picture of how this is going to fit in, and also how the front of that very square box is going to profile up underneath this into there. So it's Sawzall time. Now that's access. Okay, so lighting box, top of the front fender is off, and in we go. So we can see that this fits. Probably take the corner off this box, just so we can come in a bit, and I've got some to trim out there. Maybe get rid of these screws while we're in here, right? Well, it's looking pretty good because one, we've definitely got the room. Two, it fits, basically C1 again, and we can get to it to, you know, to finish this off. So let's crack on. I'll get the corner of that box off. We'll get it shifted in position, and then we can pack it up off the original bumper of the taxi, I think, until we're against there. Bit of marking, well, we'll be done by lunch. Okay, so obviously in there's a few sort of clearance issues, certainly with the corner, the round of the body, so I've cut this corner off, and also, a little bit wonky, but I've cut this corner off the back, just so that if there's any problem, you know, with the wheel, basically, there's a lot of clearance, so we've got rid of that. But I do have to keep this because there's part of the light mechanism that needs to go in there. So what I'm going to do now, before this box falls to pieces, is put some bits back in here to give me strength, and then we'll continue. And that box has got to fit in there really well, so I took this corner off, and I'm just trying to get this to sit somewhere in relation to the shape of this. And it's another reason why taking the top of the fender off just way easier than you know, messing about underneath. 1,000 trial fits, you know, this way I can get it about right, just straight off. So I mean, get this to fit, and then look how the mechanism fits back in here, and then offer it all up, and we should be getting a little bit closer to having a bit of lights. This is sort of in place. So we're going to have to take this through a hole in the wing. Now, there's no way around it. There's no other way. I'm just going to have to cut the wing. I've already marked a nice square line off of there. So let's get the Sawzall and let's chop that wing. I really am hoping that's right. I have no idea. Let's offer it up. That is really close to where it needs to be. With a little bit of alteration there, I should have the clearance that I need to get this through, and so this folds in and out. Things like this are never easy. Anything we're moving parts, it's just a nightmare. But we will get there. So, more marking, more sawing, let's see how it goes. Right, so that is going to need a little bit of fine adjustment to get it in there. But we get in there. So, at the minute, I've just super glued this in, just so it's about right, and just drying at the minute. I've made a bracket that fits to the mechanism that pops up and down, and hopefully, this is just going to come up and it's all going to be fine. I've put it all a bit back together, and I'll be grinding out all those joints and glassing in them to make sure we get no sort of cracking. And then when this is up on the ramp outside, I'll glass everything on the back of this, encasing the box. Also inside the box, we'll remove the mechanism and glass all inside there. So it's a really waterproof and finished thing. But now, let's see if this actually opens. And really, I've not seen this before, so it could all go horribly wrong. And I am working this just by 2 wires off a battery at the minute. This is not quite yet, you know, wired in. But let's just see how this opens up. Okay, so it's pretty quite fast at the minute, and there's no micro switch on it to stop it where it's meant to be. But I think that's a win. It works. It's a little bit quick, but that is it. We have now got pop-up headlights on a sort of copy of an F100 truck. But pop-up headlights, there we are. So we will be legal. All of this craziness made legal by even more madness. Quite a bit of work to do on this. So, as always, I'm going to get back to the workshop and get it done. So, last week we made this Continental kit that moves, but now Hot Rod legend Lee Cox has made it all work on a remote. So this is a remote that controls all of the ramp and all of the moving parts on the back that drag the bike up. So this is the first step of how to get a bike onto this truck. So first off, the Continental kit moves to one side. And then, by the miracle of another button, the ramp comes down. So now it's in this position with the ramp out. Now we lower the ramp to the ground. And all of this happens again at the push of a remote control button. So you can be miles away. At a show, from right across the show field, you'll be able to drop the bike off the back of the truck. And we have had a few people say that this is quite slow. But the thing is, the bike is over half a tonne. And when it's moving on the back of the vehicle, it just feels nicer and just more sort of sturdy, slow and steady getting it on. But you can still, on your own, load a motorbike on the back of this truck in less than 5 minutes, which makes it quicker than, well, probably any other way. You've got to phone your mate so I can come and lift this bike, roll it up. Oh, you don't want to be doing any of all of that. So now, let's get the bike on the ramp. Well, now, I know in the past I've shown you the ramp working, but something that we did and we never shown was how the bike actually connects. And we've done it with these two sort of nice swoopy brackets, and we've got 2 bear claw latches in here, and they operate from this lever. And when I pull the lever, they both undo and come into this position where they can accept the front of the motorbike. Now, for these to clip to the front of the motorbike, we had to modify the bike a bit. So what we did to the bike, we re-machined the front axle. So we've got this part sticking out, which is the bear claw receiver. The bear claw clips onto this, and then that's it, it's got it. And then it drags it up on the bike. This fine piece of like beautiful asymmetric machining was done by Dave Lathe. This came out particularly nicely and it works really well. So let's see the bike get on the trailer. Okay, so you've got to think the bike would be running. I'm just going to push it with brute force now. That it just goes up and clicks in, and that's it. The bike is connected to the back of the truck. Now last week we had a couple of comments about the Continental kit being in the wrong place, and yes, it really is in the wrong place. If we were shoving this or manhandling it onto the back, it's going to be right in the way, but there's none of that. The only time yet you've ever got to be close to this is when you're actually on the bike going up to the clips. Now it's clipped in, that's it. Everything else is just done with remote control, so you can do it on your own and you don't need any help. And this thankfully won't be actually in our way, although I see why a few of you did think that it would be. And like I say, in a normal scenario, this would be an absolute pain in the ass. But not with the full power operational ramp. So let's see the bike, get on the ramp, and load onto the vehicle. And all of that at the press of a button on a remote control. This is the first time I've had the bike on since I did the back of this, and you can see how it sort of hugs the front of the bike into the back of the cab, like the two are meant to be together. And on this side we can really see how the asymmetrical bike fits in and the lights go into there. This really is going to look amazing when it's done. And at the back as well, the Continental kit closes up to the tyre. There's some trimming that needs doing this. This is a bit hard up to the tyre, but that will sort of mould in by the end. So that is the automation of getting the bike on sort of done. Yeah, there's a few bits we've got to iron out, but pretty much that's it. It works. So now let's see it in reverse, and let's see how the bike gets dropped to the ground, and also let's see why there's that long lever up there and what that does. The mechanical thing, and the only thing you have to do, the only sort of manual thing, is this lever just here, and what this lever does is release the bear claw latch. So as I pull this, and the bike rolls away, and boom, I'm ready to ride, man, I'm ready to ride to freedom and beyond. So that is it for another week. Over the next 7 days, I'm going to be doing more mad stuff with cars. Hope to see you all next week. You can point and laugh. Maybe you might even think some of it's quite cool. But anyway, that will happen in another week's time. Okay then, so until next time, don't forget, bell icon, thumbs up, all the other things, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week. Until then, thank you very much and good night.